Yes, recording has started. So today's event is about the application object. So we will get to know what is an application object and uh, I mean many things more about application objects, like how and how to manage and where you can see the counts. So all the information we will be getting from our speakers. So as many of you already know, my name is Sri Lakshmanis. I am working as an assistant manager in KPMG India. And if you need any clarification or if you wish to contribute to the community with the events or the session, or you want to be a speaker, so you can always reach out to me over the mail. And also, this is my LinkedIn profile where you can reach out and get in touch with me. And we have our speakers, Amit Verma, our systems champion, and Shubham, the speaker at one conference. So I'll be handing over the session to you, Amit.
Yeah, thank you, Shilakshmi.
Yes.
So let me share my screen. Yeah. So I hope my screen visible to all, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So before we jump into the session, so today in our session, my colleague Shubham Mawar and I are excited to talk about application object with OutSystem. So So before we jump into the session, let me introduce myself. So I am Amit Verma, a tech lead at Valentic and OutSystem champion, and I have overall 10 year of experience in software development, and with more than 8 years experience in low code development, and I am continuously learning new skills, and I believe that personal growth stems from connecting with people and exchanging idea. So today is my first session as a speaker at the OutSystem user group event, where I will presenting application objects with OutSystem. So let me call to Shubham. So yeah, Shubham, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thanks Sri Lakshmi and Amit. Yeah, guys, I'm Shubham Mawar. I'm working as a tech lead at the Valentic Group. I have overall 10 years of experience in the industry. Started with the Java background, Java, Spring Boot, all those stuff. And now I'm in OutSystems from past 3 years. And it has been a very thrilling and engaging journey with OutSystems, and I feel now that it's time to give back to the community and learn a lot of things from the community as well. Um, I was a speaker as well at the one conference that took place in Bangalore in 2023, and have been part of several user group events as well, both as a speaker and as a listener. And yes, I'm really excited for this event.
Yeah. So thank you, Shubham. Okay. So yeah. So so today we will discuss about application object in OutSystem. Right? So before we dive into the details, so does anyone have any idea about what is an application object in OutSystem? Maybe anyone, maybe you can in the chat also you can.
Yeah, I have seen. Hello, my name is Nani.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, yes.
Yeah, I have seen some small documentation regarding the application objects. It will be available in service center if you go to the service center or at administration. License. We can see the application objects. Basically, it gives you the count of an application, each and every application in your environment. um, about screens, entities, APIs. These are the things which gives you as a count in service center.
Okay.
That's what I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly same thing. Yeah. So so in OutSystem, application objects are basically a measure of complexity of your OutSystem application, And this complexity is measured only in terms of screens, data entities, and API methods. And complexity can be measured in different perspectives. For example, the technology we have used, or integrations and data schema. And all those things can be contributed to the complexity of an application. But when it comes to the application object, the complexity will be measured in terms of the number of screens, data entities, and API methods used. So next, let's talk about how to access or check the application object of your application. So yeah, again, does anyone know how to access or check application objects count in OutSystem? Okay, so let me brief out. So you can
So,
access info.
Amit, sorry to interrupt. Sojanya has raised the hand.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yes, yes, please.
So there are two ways to count the application objects, Amit. One is theoretically we know that a screen, API endpoint, or an entity. These are the three main components counted as AOs. If we know this, that is, sum of these three will be a number of AOs consumed in an application. Otherwise, if someone has administration access, they can go to licensing application object and click on the link application object. It will give us a breakdown.
Okay. Yeah, correct.
Apart from this, there is another one forge component application objects, which gives us insights of each application object consumed in a module or application, both level. So these are the three ways.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so you can access information about the application object from the Service Center console if you have the permission, right? And from the Administrator tab under the licensing, you can view the environment limit and how many application object you have used, right? And in all the non-production environments, OutSystem provide unlimited application objects. And however, due to recent licensing policy changes, so AO provided in production environments are limited and licensing cost driven by application object. And therefore, during the development and maintenance, it is important to keep application objects in mind. During this will not helpless to create clean application, but will protect us against any policy changes. And for the ODC, you can access application object from the subscription section of the ODC portal. So next, let's discuss why to worry about AO. So the primary reason to be concerned about application objects are, if you have a mindset of saving application object, you will create cleaner application with good architecture. And licensing cost, if we are involved in a project with a client, you need to consider the licensing cost the client will pay. The client will have to pay if the number of application object exceed the limit. So next, let's discuss what counts as an application object. So anyone can know what count as an AO per Service Studio tab? Okay. So in OutSystem, the Service Studio tool includes 4 tabs. The first one is a process tab, where AOs count element like processes and BPT. In the interface tab, they include screens and UI elements. And the logic tab encompasses server actions and integrations. And while the data tab count entities and structures. So next, let's get into more details about what count as an AO per Service Studio tab. So the first one is the process tab. So in this tab, neither BPTs or not timers count as an application object. That was about the process tab. So next, interface tab. So in the interface tab, each web and mobile screen count as one AO, each email screen count as one AO, and the difference between the traditional and reactive web applications. In React traditional web, tabs and pop-ups count as one AO because they can exist independently. In reactive web, tabs and pop-ups do not count as AO because they can exist only inside a screen. And web blocks do not count as an AO, and tooltips do not count as an AO. Next, logic tab. So only web services, REST and SOAP are considered for AO count. Each methods inside a REST API is counted separately as an AO. For example, if a REST API has three methods, one get and two post, so it will count it as three AO. The same logic applies to both consuming and exposing a REST or SOAP API, and the module in which the API was created count as one AO. Even if it is consumed elsewhere, it won't be counted as again. And other elements in the logic tab, such as client server actions and roles exceptions, do not count as an AO. And API methods from a library or a forge component count as AO. And API with C# based extension do not count as an AO, and they are outside the OutSystem framework. So yeah, so now I am hand over the session to my colleague who will continue with the next slides. Yeah, Shubham.
Thanks, Amit. So, yeah, guys, let's talk about the next tab, that is the data tab. And talking with respect to AOs, so the entities and static entities, each of them will count as one AO. Local entities in mobile apps, again, and they will count as one AO. Static entities or normal entities included in libraries or components, they will again count as an AO. And entities imported from external databases will also contribute to the AO count. All other things on the data tab like structures, site properties, resources, they don't contribute to the AO count. Only the entities does. Uh, and also, uh, if an entity, for example, is referenced in some other module, in that case also it will count as one AO only, and the count is usually measured on the source where the in the module where the entity actually resides. No matter how many times or in how many modules you consume that, the count will be taken only from the source module. Uh, then an important thing to note is that even if your application, your table is consumed from different environments, again, it will be only the source environment and the source module where the AO will be counted for that entity. Next slide, please, Amit. Yeah, so let's discuss about some other scenarios as well. But before proceeding, let me ask a question. So if any one of you from the audience, like we already discussed the different scenarios, that what all counts for the AO and what does not. And mostly the same pattern is followed in the ODC as well, OutSystems Developer Cloud. But there's a significant difference between the two. Does anyone know what is that between ODC and O11?
ODC and O11, there is a like in ODC everything like we can create as a service actions, whereas in O11 like we can create both.
Yeah, I mean, that is from the architecture side, but with respect to AOS, there's a
With
difference.
respect to AO, like events, basically in O11, events won't be considered as an application object, whereas custom defined events considered as an event in ODC. Am I right?
No, but events won't be included in the AO count, right?
But whereas I see somewhere like a custom defined events can be included as an one AO.
Mm, no, no, no. Mostly it is not. And
Okay.
The difference basically lies in the fact, if you see from here, the point number 4. As you know that we can deploy multiple versions of the same library in ODC. In ODC, majorly we have applications and libraries. So you can deploy multiple versions of the same libraries and applications, and the version with the highest number of AOs will contribute to the AO count. Whereas in O11, the latest published module or application, which is published and is present in your runtime, will be considered for the AO count. So that is majorly the difference. Uh, let's look at some other scenarios as well. So yeah, within the same runtime, each entity and API method will be considered as one AO, even if they are consumed from multiple apps or multiple runtimes. Disabled applications still continue to contribute to the count. So disabled applications or the dead code or the disabled code, it won't matter. It will still be contributing to the account. So you should be really careful there. We already talked about this, that yes, components from the Forge, if you are using them in your runtime, please be careful. Again, it will contribute to the account. And lastly, even if you are using any library and it has API methods or static entities, it will once again be included in the account. Next slide, please, Amit. Yeah, so here's just a tabular view where you can look at each of the Service Studio tab on the left, and then on the first column we have all those things which will be included in the AO count, and the second column all the elements which won't be included in the AO count. So it's just a visual to summarize everything here. Yeah, you can go to next slide. Yeah, so some of the advantages why we should keep track of the AO count. One thing is, like Amit said before also, that the licensing cost is now driven by AOs, and it was I would not say a recent policy change, because it has been some months already, or I would say it has almost been a year, or more than a year, that this policy change has come in. But yes, earlier the licensing cost was not directly driven by the number of AOs, but now it does. So that's why the AOs become now important. And also, if you do your development with application objects in mind, ultimately you will create optimized application and optimized code. Before creating anything, a table or a screen, you would ask yourself that, is it really needed? Can't I just increase the column in my table? Or can't I use web blocks and then integrate with my screen? You would not have test screens as we used to sometimes, and you would regularly clean all the unnecessary things in your code, deprecated code, dead code, everything. So your applications will become clean and you will have optimized code. That is an advantage. Um, and of course, it will fewer errors and optimized mindset will eventually create reusable code, and your application will become more and more modularized, which is also recommended best practice from OutSystems to have reusable elements. Uh, Fewer errors will also mean that it will be easier to maintain and manage your applications, because you're increasing the reusability. You're not keeping a lot of loose ends. Eventually your maintenance cost would reduce. So eventually the mentality will contribute to clean applications and eventually better architecture. Next slide, please. Yeah, so now let's take a look at some of the trade-offs, starting with entities. So let me just present a scenario before you guys, and then You guys can give your inputs. So let's say, for example, you're working for a client where you don't have a lot of AOs left, and sorry, there's a requirement then to create a binary column. You need to store the binary data in your database. Uh, so in this case, what would you do? Would you create a column in the same entity with data type as binary to save that AO count, or would you create a new entity with just one column as binary, as recommended by OutSystems that we should have the binary columns in a new entity and then have a one-to-one relationship between the two entities?
New
Anyone would?
entity, new entity is the preferable one. Why? Because the length of the column, like it mean to say that the binary, it say more data, right? So preferably performance wise also it good option to create new entity.
Correct. That's right. So yeah, if it's a binary or a long text field more than 200 characters, you should not compromise the performance of your application and the database, and you should go with the OutSystems recommended best practice in this case and create a new entity. So such trade-offs will come in between when you're developing or maintaining your applications. If you're new to OutSystems, you should definitely discuss this with the seniors and the architects in your team, and then take a very educated decision about this. But yes, in this case, you can't compromise with the performance or other parameters, the architecture or security. We will go with the OutSystems recommended best practice. On the interface tab, once again, separate screens would obviously mean fewer AOs. But then sometimes, what happens if some of you guys, you must have worked on legacy applications or very big applications, and at times it is the case that the screen becomes very bulky. And if you, even if you add a pop-up or a web block, it's very hard in Service Studio to find that where it is when the screen is very bulky and have a lot of widgets and web blocks. So in that case, you have to decide this trade-off between if you want to have better code readability or if you want to save an AO. Again, it should be an educated decision, discussing within the team, and then it should be decided if we go with a new screen or we continue with the same, using the same screen. And sometimes it's impossible. The from the functional side, the requirement is such that you have to create a new screen. Then of course, then the client and the functionality dictates these things. On the logic tab, it's once again the performance and the security comes in. The trade-off here is usually that instead of creating a new API method, if you're, let's say you're doing a get operation and fetching a data, and there comes a new requirement to fetch some more columns or some more data, and then the decision is if you continue to use the same API method, and if it will obviously become very bulky and will fetch a lot of data, but then you would have to take the decision uh, there that if you're okay to compromise the performance in order to save an AO, or you want the performance. And sometimes it can be the security reasons also. If you continue to use that method, but it is fetching some column which is compromising your security, so then you would have to create a new API method with by adding more security to that. So these are some of the trade-offs that will come into play when you're maintaining or developing your applications. So just keep this in mind. Next slide, please. Yeah. So Amit talked about how to see the AO counts in the ODC, and here's a visual of that. You can go to the ODC portal. In the subscription tab, you can see the application objects here per environment, and even it is giving a more detailed breakdown on the right side. Next slide, please. Yeah, so there's a case study also here. When we'll see the demo, I will show you in the demo as well. But just to give you an idea here, What happens is that as developers, we when we get a requirement and we see that we would require a forge component to to complete that requirement, we often download the component and we start using it. If everything looks good, we do we complete the full development with that forge component, and then later when we are ready to push our code to the higher environment, we realize that this component has brought in a lot of AOs, and you have a very limited AOs in production, and this would be a problem. It will give you rework. You would have to look for some other component or build your custom logic. Uh, so that can be a pain at times. But yes, we will look at an example similar to this in the demo. Next slide. Here are some of the links that you can refer. We're sharing the PPT, so uh, some more things you can learn from here. Uh, Important links you can go through. And here's the link of the Forge component also that we talked earlier. Somebody from the audience already mentioned it, that there's a Forge component which you can use to see the AOs apart from the service center, of course. Next slide. And yeah, demo. So Amit, over to you. You can start with the demo.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shubham. Okay. Let me stop and okay. So before we start the demo, so in case if you don't have the permission to check the AO counts of an OutSystem application through the Service Center console, right? So there is a traditional web application available in the Forge, right? That can be used for this purpose. So you can install that application on your OutSystem environment, right? So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So I hope my screen visible, right?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Amit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the application, right? We can check. We can install this on our environment, and then we can check the AOS count of our application, right? So it is available in the Forge. You can first you will log in and then will download as a OAP file and then install on your environment, right? So in I have already installed that application in my personal environment. Okay. So let me application count. Yeah. So this is the application, right? So I have already opened that application, right? So in this application, these are the screens, right? To check the list of the applications, right? And see the count in the different segregations, means different types, me as a screen, as a data entities, or as a web services, right? So let me log in. Okay, so this is the login page of that application. Okay, so I am logging with my credential. Maybe just a second. Yeah. So once login with the credential, then this is the dashboard, right? So here is the drop down to all the application listed here, right? So based on that, we can search of any respective application, right? And then we'll check the count, right? This is the application under. Suppose in one application we have a multiple modules is there, right? So that was also available. Suppose this is the application, right? So when I search this application and okay, so in this application we have a two modules. So the AO count will be given as a different, right? Means separately. This application, this module contain 20 AO, right? And this is the segregation for the screen level, for the entities level, and for the web services, right? So in screen, two types of there. One is the reactive and another is a traditional. And in entities, we have a static entity or as a dynamic entity, right? Or as a multi-tenant entity. So these three type of entity we can check which one will count as an AO, right? And then also web services as a SOAP services or as a REST services. We can consume or we can expose. And for more detail, if we can click on the detail link, so it will redirect to the show the how many screens counted as a AO entities and web services, right? So I am create one application that is the AO demo application, right? So this is the application. Under this is a module, right? So this application I have created, right? So I am created as a blank application. So that's why it is not showing any AO, right? Okay, so it is showing total zero AO, right? So now I am adding one screen. Okay, so just a second, demo. Okay, and then I'm add one more entity here. Student. Okay, and then add one attribute. Okay, and now let me publish. So it will automatically reflect, it will count as 2 AO. Okay, because why? Because one is for the screen and one for the entity. So just wait. Let me. Okay, now so yeah, so the total AO count is two, one for the screen and one for the entity. Same for the API. If we can consume or expose any API, right? So let me expose one API and add one method. Okay, and I'm not adding any logic here. So just so let me publish. So it will count it as one AO. Okay. And suppose in this application, if we have a multiple module is there, right? So suppose I'm adding one more module here. Okay, and this is two. Okay, and then the module type is reactive. So let me create this one also. Okay, so it published. And let me check again. Okay, so the count, it will increase to 3, right? Because one for the rest expose, because I have one API to expose, right? So that why it count as 3. And now I am adding one more module in this application. So it is already let me create one screen here also. Okay. Demo, and now publish. So when I search this application, so this application consists exists two module. So it will show two modules, and separately the AO count will be displayed. Okay. So based on this, this is the component we can check easily if we have a if don't have a permission for the service center, right? Because that the licensing thing will see only for the administrator person, right? Means if we have a right. Okay, and one more scenario, one more thing is there. Let me search again. Okay. Okay, so here the application and two modules is there. Okay, and both will showing 3, right? Because 3 reactive screen is there. So I have created one, but previously 2 screen is there. That's why it's showing 3, right? And the entity and other thing. Okay, so total is showing it's uh, 6, right? And we will check one more thing here, because this is my personal environment. So the total AO count has been 1162, right? So same thing I am check here also when I log in with the service center. And After that, click on the administrator tab, and under that we will one more sub tab is licensing, and under the licensing, that the application object is here, right? 1162, and same count display here also, right? So we can check here, and for the more segregation for which module we have consumed how much AO count, so it will it will list of details for respect to the module, it will show here, right? Which module have consumed how much AO count, right? And one more thing, suppose in case in this component, if a client is also want if any of your project and client is also want to show the AO count of our application, right? So that component also provided one thing, it will also expose the API, right? Because already so we can consume anywhere, right? So this is the thing also we have here. So anywhere we can implement, we can consume this API, and then we'll check our application AO count. So yeah, so that's all about the so this is a two-way to check. The first one is the go to the service center, and then we have permission and check the AO count. And second, if don't have a permission, then we'll go to the means using the forge component that is available, and then we can check the AO count of our application. And also we have a option to export to Excel, right? So yeah, that's it for the how to check the AO count with two ways. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, guys, first of all, I want to correct one information. Earlier, someone from the audience shared that the custom events in ODC count as an AO, and buddy, you are absolutely right. I just checked the official documentation, and they have, I guess, some days back added that in that documentation, and the custom events in ODC count as an AO. In O11 it do not count as an AO. And in ODC, as you guys are aware that everything is an either an application or a library. Library is also eventually an application, and they containerize application and libraries together in a container, and therefore the events becomes important there to have the loose coupling in place, because they are promoting a microservice sort of architecture there. So in that case, eventually events will help the communication between two different containers and trigger things like saving some data on the database and things like that. So yes, customized events do contribute to the AO count. However, the events of blocks, they don't. So the custom events do count as an AO, and that's the great part of being in the user events. You get to learn a lot, and I learned something today. That's great. Uh, Now to continue with my part of the demo, I don't see an option to share the screen. It's disabled for me.
Just a second, let me stop and then you can share.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you
Yes.
got enable option, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I'll be sharing it. So let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, so Amit already told you the service center thing from where you can access the AOs. I just wanted to add a scenario there, which is the production environment. And it's the same thing, same place in service center, administration, licensing. And here you see the application objects, but here it's not unlimited. There's a limit. And we have already consumed 265, so we are just left with 35. And you can similarly, like Amit showed, you can see the details of everything here against each application and module wise. And let me now show you the case study I was talking about. So once again, like I said, that as developers we tend to use some components from the forge or some of the inbuilts, and then when we have developed everything and when we are ready to push our code to higher environments, we realize that the component we have used is consuming a lot of EOS, and then it triggers rework, redevelopment, and things like that. So one example here is that I have used the AES encrypt and decrypt. This is coming from the discovery component. Discovery, this is a popular way that we used to use for encrypting decrypting our text or strings. And discovery app usually is used to study and analyze the architecture of your applications, but some people in some applications I've worked, I've seen this also used for encrypt decrypt. And I'm basically from my back office encrypting a string and providing it for my front office, the client side. And on the client side, I'm decrypting that string and using it to show it on the screen. Uh, this is just one use case I'm showing, but on real scenarios, there can be many more use cases, like you're displaying this encrypted or decrypted string on a lot of places across your application. Uh, Things like API key or app key we usually use for security purposes. So you're using it on the APIs, on the screens, while saving the data to the database. Also, you sometimes need encryption decryption, so it is possible that you have used these two methods intensively, and when you are ready to move to production, you realize here that you just want to have a look at the application objects, or the TL who is moving your code, he have a look at the application objects and he sees discovery there, and the discovery application is having 42 EOS, right? And I just have 30, 35 EOS left. So this could be a problem. It would trigger a lot of rework and the cost with it. And so we need to be very careful when using any component or during development and maintenance. Now that the licensing policy is driven by EOS, we need to have a mindset of uh, delivering clean applications and keep in mind the EO count. That's it. Yeah, back to you, Amit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is all about the demo, right? And yeah, it's time for Q&A.
Hi, Subham. Naveen here. I'm having a non-related question. I mean, it's not related to this topic, but I'm thinking if you could answer, I mean, if you know that I can get some benefit. So earlier, when you were sharing your screen in the URL, I have seen like www.cn.net. Like, but what I used to know that OutSystem, when you acquiring license for client, there's out URL will should contain OutSystem enterprise.environment.com. So I have my question here. I mean, can we ask our domain? Can we ask custom domains while acquiring license?
You can actually configure that, and it's done from the SEO URLs in Service Center. It's again in the administration tab. There's an option SEO URLs, and you can add your custom URLs there.
Oh, great. Thanks. So my question, it's only one time or we can do, I mean, usually we'll not prefer to change URLs. I'm asking you. I mean, I have that doubt.
No, I mean it's completely configurable, and put your custom URLs there. If you want to hide the domain, you can put in your customized URL, and it will redirect to that to your actual domain.
Sure. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Hi Amit, this side Amit Jat. My
Yeah.
question is, may I know the main benefits of AO in Odyssey?
So the main benefit means it is related to the costing, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Because in ODC, as per the things, right, means now the in ODC we have in OutSystem side create one packages like this. For example, suppose if a client want to package for 100 AOs or 200 AOs, right, something like that. So these are the packages created by the OutSystem, and then based on the client requirement right, so based on that we can purchase that subscription, and then we can use. So yeah, it will definitely impact the cost, right? If we have used the more AOs, then will increase the cost. So it is very important to maintain the AOs in our application, and also it is also important to the performance and the quality of our code, right? That is also improve if AO is limited, right? So that we can think in better way, and to implement anything related to logic or anything that will approach in the right way, right? So that is
Yeah.
the so yeah, maybe Shubham add something on top of that.
Yes, I mean, from the pricing, apart from the pricing thing, you like we talked before that it will obviously help you with the clean code, cleaner applications, better reusability. You will have your modularized architecture, uh, and your code readability would also increase.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And one more thing, suppose if our AO count is unlimited, right? So in that
Hmm.
case, the application's size is also increased, right? Because if it is unlimited, so we also not in our mind to use the best way, right? We can use number of screens, entities, and just we will the target is just to implement the business logic or implement the flow, right? So that is the main purpose, but we will not think about the performance and the size of our application module also, right? Because as per the OutSystem standard, so every module have the size is 4 MB, not that much. If it is size is more 4 MB, so it is indicate this is not a good architecture, right, of our application.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
got it. Thanks. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, Amit and Shubham, we have more questions on the Q&A section. So you want me to read out, or will you be addressing it?
yeah. So yeah, Deepak ask is service action will be consumed as AO, right? Yes. So it is count as one AO because service action as a web services or as a microwave services, right? So it will count as one as a AO. Whatever the how many service action that can be used, right? Yeah. And Shubham, you can pick about the API consume in JavaScript.
Yeah. So, uh, I guess no. Mostly, it won't be counted as an AO because the logic where they are catching the AOs on the backside, the OutSystems logic is mostly on the API section, the REST and SOAP API. And if you're directly consuming it from the JavaScript, I don't think so. It will be contributed as an AO. Next one is that system entity related to AO. Yeah, so let us
Yes, I think right. So maybe it is counted as an AO.
let me
Mm,
quickly get that. I have it open.
Yeah.
I think like
No,
every out systems like have the part of the entity, right? It may be count as an AO.
Yeah, so from what I see on the documentation, the system
But I
related
guess
entities don't count as a.
the question is more about. I mean, is there? Correct me if I'm wrong, Nani. So, Nani is asking about: is there any system entity where we can access the AO information, like the AO accounts or something?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hmm. Amit, do you have an idea about this?
Yes, yes. So that component, right? The I have shown in a demo, right? So in demo, just a second. So the
Abid, I have answer
just
for
give me
this.
a
Can I?
second.
Yes,
Yeah,
please,
please,
Madhava.
please.
Actually, like as per the documentation, like what are the tables were created per the OutSystems platform? The tables don't contribute as an AO count.
No, I
Oh,
think the question I think different, right? As uh,
System entity, right? That he asked, like normal
Uh,
entity, static
well,
entity contributed as an AO count, but the system entities, like system entities in the sense that is defined by the OutSystems platform. So that OutSystem platform tables, like in the entities, doesn't contribute as an AO count.
yeah, I believe there are two different doubts in the audience. So let's clear the first one. Yes, you're right, Madhav, that all the system related entities do not contribute in the account. That is correct. And the second question is if there is a system entity where we can see the number of entities, or like we have system entities where we can see process or timer details. Similarly, do we
yes.
have an entity where we can see the application object details?
yes, and the entity name is e-space object count. Shubham.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. That is
yeah.
the one.
Okay. I guess that is answered for you, Nani.
Thank you.
And there is one more question from Deepak. Can you please explain about this point? Mixing non-related data in a single static entity versus clean static entities in the trade-off slide.
So let me go to that slide. Just a second.
Yeah. And
Yes.
basically what it means is that uh, in a static entity, if from a functional point of view, let's say we want to store the status of our product. The status is uh, let's say sold, or in inventory, or not available, right? These are the three status. So that will mark as one entity as product status. But if in order to save an AO, I add some other things also in that entity, let's say customer status is another functional unit, and I add that in the same entity of product status, just to save an AO. So that should not be done, right? You should have clean architecture there and well functionally defined things in your code. So you should create two entities, one with product status and the other with customer status.
Yes. So there is one confusion, Shubham, in the chat. Neha Agarwal has raised. So I think the server action is not counted as an AO.
Yes, it is not. Server service actions don't count in the, does not consume AOS.
Okay, so previously, maybe this arised because previously the Deepak question was answered as yes, when the action will be counted as an AO. But anyhow, so to clear that, service action will not be counted as an AO.
Yeah.
Deepak, would you mind? I see more questions on the Q&A from you. So, would you mind unmute yourself so that it will be very clear for you? Otherwise, if you prefer to connect offline with Shubham or Amit, that should also be great.
The static data will be a predefined one, right? So why we need to keep it is in the separate entities in different.
So it's more like I mean, it would not make any sense, right? What I just from the functional point of view, you have two separate functional requirements. One is to store your product status, and one is to store your customer status. They are two completely different things. And if you're gonna add that into the same static entity, it would not be good from the functional side as well as from the maintainability of our application. If a new developer comes in, he would be totally confused that why does this entity has both the things in it, the product status and customer status. If I'm clear there.
Hello. Yeah, Shubham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we can segregate that will be with a different attribute, right?
but in static entities like the attributes, even if you segregate, try to segregate it with attributes, it would again, I mean, be confusing, right? That you have created, yeah, and eventually it's the record that you will use and not the attribute, because internally static entity is an enum, and you won't be able to use the attributes of a static entity but only the records. And in records you will have your product status and customer status, both the things in records. And if you can understand it from the other side as well, just imagine an enum. So you create an enum, a product status enum and a customer status enum. Would you, in your high code in Java, C Sharp, would you mix both the things in the same enum? You'll create two different enums, right?
But
Okay.
enum is not an considered as separate AO, right?
No, it is not. Or let's take this offline, Deepak. You can reach out to me and we will discuss this. And basically, I was just giving an example that from the C sharp side, in OutSystems it is static entity, but on the backend side it is implemented as an enum. But yeah, we will take this offline, Deepak.
Shivam, are you available on ADP list so that
Okay.
Sorry, Shilakshmi.
are you available in the ADP list as a mentor?
No, no, I'm not.
Yeah, maybe you can enroll so that people would, can book a session with you and get more info. And
Yeah, sure.
for Deepak, you can reach out to Shubham or Amit offline. Sorry, with the interest of time, we'll I mean we'll end the Q&A here and we'll go for the next part of the session. So with that, Amit, would you mind stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Thank you for all the information that you have provided, Amit and Shubham. This was a very great session, very informative for the participants. I see a lot of interaction, and I saw the way you addressed the question and answers. So, thank you so much. Thanks a lot for your time. And we'll move on to the next part of the session where uh, the
Thank you.
participants will get a opportunity to participate in the quiz and win the swag kits. Thanks, Amit and Shubham.
Yeah. Thank you, Shilakshmi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit and Shivam. Bye.
Thank you, Shubha and
Thank
Amit,
you.
for the session. Very
Thank you.
informative.
Yeah. Amit, please stop sharing your screen so that I can take. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And before moving forward, I would request, if you don't mind, please turn on your camera so that I'll take a snap of your smiling faces to post it on the social media. Yes. Thank you. And one more. 1 second. Yes. Thank you. That's so nice of you all. So let's move on to the next part. I'll take over the screen. I'll start sharing. Yes. So we have our Bangalore OutSystems user group YouTube channel wherein you will find all the recordings of the previous session, also the current session. So once this is completed, I'll be uploading the video there. So for your reference, I'll be putting the link in the chat. So whoever cannot access the QR code can follow the link and find all the videos of Bangalore Our Systems group sessions. Okay, and yes, so the next most important part is to I request all of you to provide your feedback. Please scan the QR code, and for this also I'll be putting the link in the chat. And your feedback really matters for us to improve and give a very quality sessions in future. So yeah, so Janya, there will be a quiz after the feedback. So I'll be waiting for 2 more minutes. I'll be giving you the time to scan the QR code or click the link and follow and submit your feedback. So which will really help us to improve the session. I'll be waiting for 2 minutes, and once you are done, you can put done in the chat so that we'll move on to quiz without any further delay. Please submit your feedback. Okay, I'll wait for 1 more minute to start the quiz. And I see two dones in the chat. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, Kishore, Madhav, Aditya. Thank you. Thank you for all those who are submitting the feedback. Thank you for your time. And okay, it's time to get going for the quiz. Yes, I'll be sharing the screen. Yes, so the rules of the quiz is simple. So most of you have already know. So once I host the quiz, this is having a limitation of only 60 participants. So first come first serve. So those who register first will be able to play the quiz, and there will be 11 questions, and whoever answer the most right answers, so they'll be eligible to get the prize, and the prize will be the swag. So let's get going. Uh, QR code you can uh, scan in and join, and I'll be putting the link in the chat also to make it easy for you to access over the laptop if you have joined in through the laptop. And also, I request all of you to give a full name or a name through which I can identify you. So don't give your nicknames over there. So please provide your full name so that it'll be easy for me to identify the winners. Okay, I see 56 joined. Okay, so with that, we are good to start. 58 and two more. 58, 59, 60. Yes, let's start. You will be having 20 seconds for each question, and for some questions which are long, I have given 30 seconds. Let's see, 16 of you have given the right answers. Let's see who is on the top. Ribelpreet, Abhishek, Arshad. Congratulations. Let's go to the next question. All the best to the others. Only 9 of you have given the right answers. I think that was a tough one then. Let's see who is on the top after two questions. It's Ribelpreet, Nani, and Pedro. 20 of you have given the right answer. Who is at the top? Ribelpreet, Pedro, and Vikas Power. You have 30 seconds to answer for this question. Take your time. That's great. 47 of you have given the right answer. Ribelpreet, Pedro, and Arshad stays at the top. Nineteen has the right answer. Ribelpreet, Arshad, and Pedro again. Forty-two have the right answer. Ribelpreet, Pedro, and Denison. Good. You have 30 seconds to answer this question. 27 of you have given the right answer. Babita joined the race. You have 40 seconds to answer this question. Seventeen of you have given the right answer. You have three more questions. And who is at the top? Rebelpreet, Arshad, Pedro. Only two of you have given the right answer. Was that a tough one? Rebelpreet, Arshad, and Pedro again. You have last two questions. 18 of you have given the right answer. Last question decides the winners. Let's see. All the best to you guys. Kishore Kumar has joined the race at the last. Okay. Last question here. 28 of you have given the right answer. Let's see who has won the race. Shika, congratulations. You started third place. Pedro for the second place. And Rubal Preet, congratulations for being the first winner of this event. Congratulations for all of you. And for all the participants over here, better luck next time. Please join the next session and participate in the quiz and keep winning. So, thank you all for joining the session, for taking out your time. And once again, thank you, Amit and Shubham, for providing such an informative session. And it was very much helpful for all the participants. Thank you again. Hope
Yeah.
to collaborate you in future.
Yeah. Thank you, Sri
Thank you
Lakshmi,
guys for
for
having.
the session.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you, Sri
also,
Lakshmi.
thank you, thank you. And also, I would request the winners to stay in the call. I would need few information, so I'll get it. Then you can leave. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all for joining in.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I'll consider your feedback. I'll increase the timings for the question. Okay, so it was 20 seconds. Let me increase from the next session. Feedback taken. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Amit.
Yeah.